Welcome to Community Engagement Ambassadors Elected Leadership Engagement. In this brief presentation, we're going to talk about leadership engagement. We're going to talk a little bit about accountability, and we're also going to learn what authentic community engagement looks like. So the goals of this presentation are for you to learn about the pyramid of engagement and how that impacts decisions and policies. It's also to help you understand what productive accountability options look like and how they create positive community outcomes, and also to understand the components of authentic community engagement. Engaged leaders, leaders who are engaged authentically with the citizens that they represent, make better decisions. It's just a given. It's a fact. When a leader is engaged with the community, it really helps to influence their actions. And when their actions are influenced, that also leads to better decisions that they make. And the better the decisions are that they're making, that can help shape and form the policies that they are going to be engaged in developing or supporting. So that's why it's important for, when we look at the pyramid of engagement, it's really important to understand where our leaders are with regards to engaging with the community that they represent. So here are a couple of options for what I call productive accountability. And one of them is attending legislative, commission, or council meetings. You can do that by signing up to know when the meetings are. You can ask to be on the agenda to speak. You can also submit information to your council, city councils, your county commissions, or the legislators that represent you. You can go to committee hearings and things like that. It's important to just understand, though, when you're doing that, understanding where these individuals, what they can actually do. And I do have a session that I talk about which explains to you the various levels of where each leader, what they do actually. So it's important to understand your audience and who you're speaking to, so you understand the authority that they have, and that you're not asking them to do something that they don't have or fix something that they don't have the authority to fix. The other thing is, you want to try to look at it as you may be coming there because you have a problem, but try to present it in a way where you are also showing them some possible solutions, and try to make it a win-win situation for all as much as possible. There's sometimes when we do have to have those difficult conversations, and I'm not saying that we don't do that, but do that as much as possible in a productive way, because you don't want the people that you're talking to shut down where they cannot hear you. Therefore, you do not get what you're asking for to take place and happen. The other thing that you can do is track legislation. You can also look at the budgets that are being put forward in your city or at your county level, or even at the state level. You can also look at the ordinances for the city that you live in. So it's important to look at all those things. And then finally, participate as much as possible in town halls or when there are community conversations that happen. It's important to be involved in all of those things. But I say start with trying to be as positive and productive as you possibly can. So when I look at community engagement, I think of it as the authentic way in which our community is involved in making key decisions, developing long-term sustainable outcomes, and building relationships, and having conversations that lead to positive change and action. And the success is grounded in the ideas that come from community members, especially from underrepresented members impacted by the implementation of the ideas. Authentic community engagement can also lead to uncomfortable conversations. And a lot of times it challenges our assumptions, but those are not necessarily bad things. Having an uncomfortable conversation, so long as it's a productive one, and having one that challenges our assumptions, so long as it's a productive one, can be rewarding. and oftentimes leads to better public policy and community life. When we also think about authentic community engagement, we have to think about removing barriers to engagement. And that starts with rebuilding trust and letting people know why they should engage and what that can do for them. It requires sometimes accommodations like interpreters or translated materials or sign language or childcare or different meeting times. It might also require transportation. And it also takes time, but in the end, it is definitely worth the effort. So I'd like to leave you with this quote, "The Greatness of Community" by Coretta Scott King, which she says, "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members." I hope that this small, short, brief presentation has inspired you to think about how you can engage either as a community member or as a community leader in more compassionate action with the community members that you are part of or that you serve. So this is just an introduction. It's short. It's to talk about what elected leadership engagement can look like and how we can have productive conversations with our elected leaders. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to us on this YouTube channel and share it as well with other people. You can also follow us on Instagram. There's a website out there as well, and there's also a social media page on Facebook. And there will be an upcoming blog where there will be several articles that will be out there on a regular basis for you to take a look at that will hopefully inspire and educate you. Thank you so much for listening.